and welcome to B-Movie Euphoria for yet another review. At the request of our special guest today, last night we watched Rituals.
5 doctors on their annual ritual, just trying to have a good time. But this is the year they should have stayed at home.
That thing's never gonna let us out of here!
It's a Canadian director, Peter Carter. It's a Canadian writer, Ian Sutherland, and
He's the guy for this movie. The writer.
the writer.
The writer is what makes this movie cool.
So that's what's interesting. I really like the writing
What's
of this
his
movie
name?
too.
Peter?
His name's Ian Sutherland. Is the writer.
Peter Gillespie.
Rituals is from 1977. It stars Hal Holbrook as Harry, also Lawrence Dane as Mitzi, who also produced this movie.
Yeah. I discovered it on a Mill Creek, one of those 50 movie packs way back in the day.
Yeah.
And it made an impression despite the awful quality of the DVD. So Nick called it a Deliverance ripoff, which it is in a lot of ways, but the writing is still inspired, like we kind of already mentioned. It's about 5 doctors who all knew each other from medical school.
5 doctors: Harry, Mitzi, Martin, Abel, and DJ. And DJ is the guy who kind of put everything together.
Right. Very much like Deliverance, they're friends. They've been friends for a long time.
They're doctors.
Their relationship, the twist is they're doctors.
Yes.
I don't think they're doctors in Deliverance.
Because they're doctors, obviously there's a lot of doctor talk in this movie. There's a lot of, like...
Not too much. It's interesting. It's
No,
interesting.
it is.
Like, is this what doctors talk about when amongst themselves?
Are they talking about, like, morals? Are they talking about...
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to really understand the specifics of what they're talking about in certain scenes. I think you know what you're talking about. It's just supposed to kind of show you that these guys have a history.
Yes.
And they're all
kind of
really, like...
grumpy, too.
Like, even before the crazy stuff starts, they weren't ready to go on a big hiking trip.
No, this is not a group of men that usually goes on hiking trips. The guy who organized it, DJ...
Look! 2 months ago, I sent everyone Xerox sheets of what I would supply and what you were to bring. You were to bring extra shoes and your toothbrushes. I supplied everything else. I had everything organized.
They're out. These doctors are out in the woods.
Yeah.
They're
taking a break.
They're trying to, reconnect with nature, and they're having conversations. They're getting drunk.
They're arguing. 2 of them have, like, beef because one of them doesn't agree with the ethics of the other guy's plastic surgery or something like that.
Yes,
The other
exactly.
dude's like, we're going to be doing that. He's like, well, with your brain surgery, probably kill some people too. And it kind of comes up later. It's sort of a foreshadowing first ethical choices that a character has to make later on.
Yeah, there's no fat in this movie. Everything, even if you think it's inconsequential to everything else, it still has something to do with what comes up later in the film. One
part that I thought was kind of interesting, maybe a little progressive, dare I say, is one character. They don't draw a bunch of attention to it like they might in, some of these more heavy-handed movies nowadays. Just mentions his ex-boyfriend. Yeah. And we kind of looked at each other for a second and we're like, oh, I guess that character's gay, alright. And they don't mention it again until later when one of the, kind of more, jerk characters uses a nasty word towards him.
But yeah, this is 1977 or 1976, which is when the movie was made, and it's just a gay character that is not a stereotype. It's not a, look at this character. It's just a gay character, and that's it. And it's great.
If anything, he's more stereotypical in his role as, the drunk of them. But he wasn't even serious. You kind of, you get it. You're like, I'd kind of be tempted to get hammered if I just got my leg mutilated.
But he was getting hammered before any of this happened. So this is Martin, and Martin is also a very good actor. played by Robin Gamble, who hasn't been in a whole hell of a lot, but he was also in Star Chamber with Hal Holbrook.
Oh!
These actors just melded very, very easily, and they just kind of... The chemistry was very good. I bet there
were wizards behind this movie.
Wizards?
Yes.
Canadian wizards?
Yes.
Okay, so they're in the woods.
Yeah.
They're partying, they're having a good time.
Well, they're also grouching and arguing with each other.
Yeah, they're bitching at each other.
Yeah, from the get-go.
Then they wake up in the morning, and their boots are gone.
No.
Oh,
their
no?
boots get stolen while they're swimming.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they wake up in the morning, and they go swimming, and then their boots are gone.
Well, they must be here somewhere.
No, I've looked everywhere. They're not here. No, I looked in the tents. I checked the woods. They're not here.
Is anything else gone?
I don't think so. It's just the boots.
Only DJ, the guy who put it together, brought the extra pair of shoes, even though we told them all to bring second pairs of shoes. Not because he anticipated Crazy Woodsman, but because it's just smart to bring an extra pair of shoes while you're out in the wilderness.
Yes. So there are some wilderness survival tips in this movie.
Yes.
Make sure you bring extra pair of boots. Watch for bear traps.
And maybe don't get drunk when you're hiking really dangerous terrain.
Mm-hmm. So they lose their boots. DJ's like, hey, I brought my extra pair of sneakers, so I'm going to go to this this man-made dam, a couple miles east or something.
They've got a map.
Yes. He's like, you guys stay here, that'll be better.
Maybe he does.
But
they can't, because
bad things are happening.
Yes. They wake up to a really gnarly, I think it's called a caduceus or a catechus. I don't know. You know that symbol that's on the back of ambulances that is the snake wrapped around the thing or whatever? There's some...
It's the medical thing that you actually see at the beginning, in the beginning credits when it says rituals. It's
nasty.
It is gnarly because it's a decapitated deer head, which, according to IMDb, was a real deer head that they just chopped off and then put there.
Yeah, it's the caduceus.
Yeah, caduceus. There's snakes underneath it, and they're all sliming around.
They're like tied to it or something horrible, because...
Yeah, and so they're getting freaked out,
yeah.
And they decide to start trekking.
Yeah, I bet the Blair Witch guys saw this movie, and they were like, it's scary to wake up to mutilated animals. We gotta put that in our movie.
This has a very Blair Witch vibe.
Another great scene is, that's the first night they camp without DJ. The next night, they want to eat some grub. But they can't have a fire because that'll call the Mad Woodsman down on them.
They're scared of getting whoever's trying to kill them, giving them a signal that they're there, so they can't cook anything.
As if they're not being followed, but whatever.
Yeah, everything they brought is one of those ration
stuff
things.
You gotta boil. So the guy, he just starts being like, well, let's see what we can make without a fire. Not that.
Harry doesn't want a fire, so we'll see what we can eat. That's no good. Oh, that's no good. No good. Rice, no good. Powdered milk.
Bad things keep happening. They decide to just wrap up tarp and put it on their feet as makeshift shoes.
Yeah, so the boots got stolen by the woodsman.
Right, and they try to find different ways of getting to... I think they're heading to the dam too, I guess. There's a lot of just left to the audience
which is fine, because this is very much about the mood, the vibe, the characters, and...
it's very much about the very casual dialogue and the really, really good acting by everyone involved. It's either very naturalistic by the rest of the Canadian cast, or just very, very good by Hal Holbrook.
I don't know a whole lot of horror movies, and he's in Creepshow.
He's in The Fog.
He's in The Fog,
yes.
Right? So check this out if you like that guy.
He's also in Fletch Lives.
Famous for playing Mark Twain on the stage.
Yes, so
that's a classy guy.
He actually originated that back in the 60s. And he did it all the way up till his death, which was January of this year.
So he was Mark Twain when he made this movie, which is kind of where he plays dark Twain.
Another thing that happens is a beehive is just thrown at them.
Yeah, and one of the guys breaks his neck because they all like go tumbling down a hill.
There's a huge what in a Chris Farley movie would have been hilarious. They're tumble down the hill.
But in this
case,
it's not funny because someone died.
You see him fall down the hill and you're like, he's okay, he'll be fine. But then they all jump into the river and he doesn't because he's just kind of still. And you're like, oh, he's probably sleepy. He is dead.
He caught some bees, now he's catching some Z's. Forever.
Oh, my God.
He's dead, Martin.
Misfortune falls upon them, and something interesting about that is the drunk fellow, once he gets bear trapped, they throw him on a makeshift raft and they try to traverse the river. They're like, what if we just go up the river?
It's not even a makeshift raft.
You just stepped on a bear trap in the river. Why are you walking through the river? The dude he's all drunk and stuff, he starts kind of like guessing, like coming up with theories as to like who's hunting them, what's happening.
Yeah, he's almost delirious.
Where he kind of finds his way to the title of the movie, Rituals. He thinks that there's some like creepy person doing this ritualistically to try and like I can't remember the specifics, but to do some sort of like evil
demonic thing.
Bring about evil.
Traps. They all seem to come together at the same time. That rope was put there to draw us across. The stag's head, the snake, the patient, precision. No, the ceremony. The ceremony. We're being drawn deeper and deeper into a kind of demonic ritual.
It's stream of consciousness, and at the same time,
as these dudes are pushing him up a grueling river,
are physically pushing him up this river, and there are no stuntmen. It's just them because the camera is on them nonstop, pushing this delirious man up the river
as he delivers a creepy monologue.
Well, yeah, he's freaking them the fuck out. So Mitzi just at one point is just like, I'm not fucking pushing this guy anymore. But he doesn't say guy.
Fisticuffs with Hal Holbrook's character, and this other dude, he's floating away.
He's just like, guys, stop.
They wake up to a head on a stick.
Yeah.
And that's a creepy thing to wake up to. It's in like a beautiful location. They're at like the top of a very tall hill where like a forest fire has wiped out the surrounding area. So
and they film there a lot.
Barren looking and dusty looking, and they wake up and there's just this gross head on a stick. And he picks it up and he weirdly, like, I mean, if it's your buddy's head, you might hang on to it. But like, he just flings the head and the stick down the hill and it's like,
what the?
So it gets really brutal, and it all kind of comes to a head at the dam.
Well, that scene.
The dam.
Literally comes to a head at the scene I just described.
That.
But then it moves forward and becomes even more intense.
They find DJ, like we said. He's not doing great. So he never got the word out that they were in trouble.
Yeah, he looks like his namesake after like a week of spring break work.
Yeah.
DJ tired. Mitzi says, I'm not going with you. I'm going the other way. They split up. Classic horror movie folks pass.
Because at this point, Mitzi's just had enough, and he doesn't give a shit about the guy whose leg doesn't work anymore, who may or may not be in the throes of death.
So Hal Holbrook's character, what's his character's name?
Harry.
Harry does his own thing.
Yes.
He goes into this creepy little cabin that he finds near the dam, and who does he find in it but a scary mountain man? They fight, and he buries an axe in this guy's stomach, only to find out this was not the scary mountain man he was after. It was the scary mountain man's brother.
We shouldn't spoil the ending, because I really want people to see this movie.
But I want to spoil it.
No, we're not going to spoil... Okay, we can say...
No.
Okay, never mind.
Harry and Mitzi were the two arguing since the beginning of the film about ethics.
Yes.
And who do you let live? How do you pick who lives and who dies as a doctor? Is it cool to do a bunch of dangerous surgeries, kind of plastic surgery type stuff? Putting people at risk. They're paying you for it. The ethics of that kind of stuff. And at the end, Harry has to make an ethical decision. And I tell you what, he may or may not make a decision that he would have or would have not approved of earlier in the film.
That's a great spoiler.
Go! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
But that's all I think we need to say about Rituals. I think
Jigsaw would like the scene.
Jigsaw was jerking off.
From the Saw franchise. He saw this and was like, oh my god, the Saw guys ripped this off too. Game of Thrones ripped this off. Saw ripped this off. That new movie Nomadland ripped this off because mountain people.
Oh. So what would you say? Do you recommend this movie? Do you think?
I love this movie.
Okay.
I absolutely recommend it. I really wanted to do it for this because it holds a special place in my heart when I discovered it. Definitely check out Rituals with Hal Holbrook. Can you edit it so that's at the beginning of this?
Yeah, I can do that. I'll definitely do
5 stars. James Kazakowicz says
Rituals. It has a great feeling throughout. It might not be the horror feeling that you want out of a horror movie, but it's definitely a unsettling, disturbing horror film.
Watch it on a tube TV in the back of your van in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
That'll have you shitting and farting in your drawers. When I say I've got gas, what do you think?
You got a fart.
That? I mean, I got a fart, right?
Yeah.
But in the near future, when we're very low on petrol and fossil fuels,
yeah.
When you say I've got gas, you're risking any pirates in earshot coming to attack you to try and get the gasoline that you've got.
Yeah.
So I think we should start phasing out I've got gas and move over to the other popular one. I got a rip one, and that's what the producers of this said. They said, I got a rip one, and that one is Deliverance. I'm going to rip that off.
If you really want to watch Deliverance again, or for the first time, put on Rituals.
Yeah.
That's our review. I'm Nick. This is James. Thank you for watching B-Movie Euphoria's review of Rituals.
Go! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!